Every year, natural disasters claim thousands of lives and reshape entire communities, leaving a trail of destruction that's both heartbreaking and humbling. From landslides swallowing mountains to glaciers collapsing into icy waters, these moments remind us of nature's raw power. But have you ever witnessed the exact moment when chaos unfolds? Here are 10 incredible natural disaster videos you need to see right now. 1. Flash flood in Uzumlu, Turkey, August 2023. In August 2023, Uzumlu, a small town in eastern Turkey's Erzincan province, faced the kind of disaster that leaves an indelible mark on a community. Torrential rains swept through the region, unleashing a flash flood that turned streets into rivers and brought life to a standstill. The relentless downpour overwhelmed the land, carrying mud, debris, and water through Uzumlu's roads and farmlands, leaving devastation in its wake. The floodwaters weren't just water, they were heavy with sediment and debris, creating a thick, muddy flow that smothered everything in its path. Roads became impassable, traffic ground to a halt, and once thriving vegetable and fruit gardens were buried under layers of mud. For the residents, it wasn't just about the inconvenience. It was the heartbreak of watching their hard work and livelihoods vanish in mere hours. Amid this chaos, rescue teams stepped in with incredible determination. These teams worked tirelessly, clearing debris to make roads usable again, and removing thick layers of mud that had accumulated in the streets. Their efforts went beyond the physical labor. They brought a sense of hope to the people of Uzumlu. Showing them that recovery, while difficult, was possible. Disasters like this aren't just about destruction, they're about how people come together in the face of adversity. And Uzumlu's story is one of strength, hope, and determination to rebuild. Second, sinking coastal town of Amarang, Indonesia, June 2022. In June 2022, the coastal town of Amarang in northern Sulawesi, Indonesia, faced an unimaginable disaster. Known for its stunning beaches and serene seascapes, this town turned into a scene of destruction when parts of it began to collapse into the sea. Entire buildings, including a hotel, were swallowed by the water as erosion and unchecked sand mining wreaked havoc on the coastline. Coastal erosion is a natural process, but human activities like sand mining had made the situation much worse in Amarang. Sand was removed from the shoreline indiscriminately, leaving the coast vulnerable to the relentless waves of the sea. When the foundation beneath these structures could no longer support them, the collapse was inevitable. On that fateful day, 15 buildings, including homes and businesses, disappeared into the sea, taking with them not just property, but also the sense of security for the town's residents. The aftermath was devastating. The shoreline was littered with debris from the fallen buildings. Wood, metal, and rubble were scattered everywhere, giving the appearance of a sunken ship's wreckage washed ashore. For the 16,000 people who call Amarang home, the scene was both heartbreaking and haunting. Although no lives were lost since the buildings were unoccupied at the time, the financial and emotional toll was enormous. For Amarang, this disaster wasn't just a loss of infrastructure, but a wake-up call about the importance of balancing development with environmental care. The scars left on this once thriving town will serve as a lesson for generations to come. Third EF3 tornado in Clarksville, Tennessee, December 2023.
Oh shit. Oh my God.
December 2023 was a dark time for Clarksville, Tennessee. A powerful EF3 tornado tore through this beautiful city, with winds peaking at 150 miles per hour, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Clarksville, home to over 166,000 people, saw its community shaken as the homes, businesses, and lives were affected in ways no one could have imagined. Eyewitnesses recall the terrifying moments when the tornado touched down. One resident shared footage taken from their porch, showing the sky turning ominously dark before the winds ripped through the neighborhood. Another video, captured unintentionally by a man recording the storm's progress, shows the funnel cloud growing stronger and closer, tearing apart structures as it moved. It's hard to watch without feeling the fear that must have gripped everyone in its path.
That thing. Wow. Look at all that debris.
The human toll of the tornado was heartbreaking. The Clarksville Police Department confirmed at least 3 fatalities. Each loss represented a family left grieving in the wake of this tragedy. Beyond the loss of life, many people lost their homes, businesses, and possessions, things they had spent years building and collecting. Entire neighborhoods were flattened, leaving nothing but debris and broken memories. The tornado didn't just destroy structures, it disrupted lives. Families were forced to seek shelter in temporary housing, and the community had to come together to rebuild. Volunteers and emergency responders worked tirelessly to help clear debris and provide support to those affected. The images of Clarksville after the storm, a city battered but united, were both heartbreaking and inspiring. This disaster shows not just the destructive power of nature, but also the resilience of people when faced with adversity. The rebuilding process will take time, but the spirit of the community remains unbroken. 4th landslide in Xinjiang, China, July 2023. In July 2023, a breathtaking yet terrifying event unfolded on a winding mountainous road in Xinjiang, China. A local driver, navigating the region's challenging terrain, had his dashcam recording as he encountered something truly extraordinary, a massive landslide. The footage, later shared widely, captures the raw and unpredictable power of nature in a moment of life or death urgency. The video begins with the driver carefully maneuvering a narrow mountain road. Suddenly, loose rocks and soil start to fall from above. Within seconds, the trickle becomes a torrent, and an enormous landslide cascades down the mountainside. The sheer volume of earth and debris is astounding, engulfing the road in a matter of moments. The driver's quick reflexes, slamming on the brakes just in time, saved his life. Watching the footage, you can't help but feel a mix of awe and relief for his miraculous survival. This landslide wasn't just an isolated incident, but the result of weeks of heavy rainfall in the region. Xinjiang's mountainous terrain, while stunning, is prone to such disasters when the ground becomes oversaturated. The rains weakened the soil's stability, triggering the sudden collapse of the mountainside. Locals mentioned that such severe landslides are rare, but this one was particularly massive and destructive. Despite the scale of the landslide, there's a silver lining. No injuries were reported. The drivers who narrowly escaped described their experiences as surreal and terrifying. One witness, Mr. Zhang, recounted how he had stopped moments before the landslide began, calling it pure luck. His words echoed the relief felt by many who could have easily been caught in the disaster. In the aftermath, the road was left completely impassable, buried under tons of debris. Emergency crews worked tirelessly to clear the area and restore access for the local community. The event served as a reminder of how unpredictable nature can be, and the importance of vigilance in regions prone to such hazards. For those who witnessed it firsthand, it was a close call they will never forget. 5th, avalanche in Sochi, Russia, February 2023. In February 2023, the Rosakuter Alpine Ski Resort in Sochi, Russia, known for its breathtaking slopes and role in the 2014 Winter Olympics, faced an unexpected natural disaster. An avalanche swept down the mountainside, dragging with it a broken power pole and tons of snow. The sight was both surreal and alarming. A power pole bent and twisted, buried deep in snow, a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable strength. For guests and locals, the avalanche brought immediate challenges. Access to some areas of the resort was completely cut off as thick layers of snow blocked roads and pathways. Several houses near the mountain were surrounded, leaving residents unable to leave their homes. Adding to the difficulty, the broken power pole caused electricity outages, leaving lodges without heating or lights. For skiers and snowboarders, the thrill of the slopes quickly turned into concern as they navigated the disruption. The resort staff and local community sprang into action. Despite the obstacles, they worked tirelessly to ensure everyone's safety. Resort employees helped stranded guests find them temporary accommodations in unaffected lodges, while locals pitched in with shovels to clear paths. Emergency crews assessed the damage and prioritized restoring electricity. It wasn't an easy task, but the teamwork and determination on display were remarkable. What stood out most was the resilience of the Rosakuter community. This wasn't the first time they'd faced harsh winter conditions, and their preparedness showed. Guests shared stories of how staff provided blankets and warm meals, turning a difficult situation into something manageable. The spirit of camaraderie helped ease the stress of an otherwise challenging time. While the avalanche caused temporary disruption, the community's quick response and ability to adapt ensured that everyone remained safe. 6. Record-breaking rainfall in Hubei, China, June 2023. In late June 2023, Hubei Province, China, experienced a rainfall event that shattered records and left its bustling cities submerged.
砸水的。
Over just a few hours, an astonishing 314.5 millimeters, 12.4 inches, of rain poured down, breaking a record set back in 1961. Streets once alive with the sounds of daily life were transformed into raging rivers, sweeping away everything in their path. For the people of Hubei, it felt like the rain would never stop. The scenes were surreal. Cars, motorbikes, and even heavy trucks were carried off by the relentless flow of water. Some vehicles became wedged against buildings, while others floated away like toys in a stream. Entire neighborhoods were submerged, forcing residents to seek refuge on rooftops. Videos captured the sheer power of the floodwaters, showing waves lapping at second-story windows and debris swirling in the currents. As the situation worsened, rescue teams sprang into action. With streets too dangerous to navigate on foot, rescuers used rubber boats to reach stranded families. Life jackets were distributed, and emergency workers carefully ferried children, the elderly, and those in need of medical attention to safety. The rescue efforts were not without risk. The currents were strong, and debris in the water made every mission hazardous. Yet, the determination of these teams was unwavering. For many, the flooding wasn't just a physical disaster. It was an emotional one. Homes, businesses, and cherished belongings were lost in the deluge. The damage was immense, but so was the sense of community. Strangers helped one another, sharing food, offering shelter, and pulling together in the face of overwhelming odds. Hubei's record-breaking rainfall was a sobering reminder of nature's power. While the destruction was immense, the bravery and resilience of the people shone through. 7th, Nepal earthquake, April 2015. April 25th, 2015, started like any other day for a family in central Nepal's Gorkha district. They were spending a quiet afternoon by the pool, enjoying the warm weather. Then, everything changed.
Çok hızlı deprem oldu burada. Mahvoldu her yer.
The ground beneath them began to tremble, and within moments, the peaceful day turned into sheer chaos. A powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake had struck, sending shockwaves through the region. The destruction in Gorka was unimaginable. Buildings that had stood for decades crumbled like sandcastles. Homes, schools, and hospitals were reduced to piles of rubble. Roads split apart, cutting off access to remote villages. The epicenter of the quake, located just northwest of Kathmandu, left Gorka particularly devastated. Entire communities were left homeless, and basic infrastructure like water supplies and electricity was wiped out. For those who survived, the world around them was unrecognizable. Despite the enormity of the disaster, the resilience of the Nepalese people was unmatched. Rescue teams worked tirelessly, often with bare hands, to pull survivors from the rubble. Makeshift shelters sprang up, where families who had lost everything gathered for safety and warmth. Neighbors supported one another, sharing food, water, and whatever resources they could spare. The international community also stepped in, sending aid and relief workers to help with the overwhelming need. What stood out most was the determination of the survivors to rebuild. Even in the face of such devastation, they clung to hope. Children returned to makeshift classrooms, and farmers began planting seeds in fields cleared of debris. The earthquake was one of the worst disasters in Nepal's history, but it also revealed the unbreakable spirit of its people. Years later, the scars of the quake remain, but so does the strength of the communities that endured it. 8. Glacier collapse in Patagonia, Argentina, February 2022. In February 2022, a dramatic event unfolded at the Purito Moreno Glacier in Patagonia, Argentina, leaving spectators awestruck and uneasy. The glacier, known for its towering walls of ice and vivid sapphire hues, experienced a massive collapse. As chunks of ice the size of buildings fell into the frigid waters below, the thunderous sound echoed through the valley. It was a breathtaking sight, but also a reminder of how dangerous these natural wonders can be. The collapse of the glacier wasn't just about what could be seen above the surface. Beneath the water lies a hidden world of submerged icebergs, and that's where the real hazards begin. These submerged chunks of ice, compressed under immense pressure, are denser than the ice above. When the upper layers collapse, it can cause the underwater portions to rise suddenly, creating massive waves and unpredictable currents. This is why, even from a distance, being near a collapsing glacier can be risky. Tourists who had gathered to witness this natural spectacle reacted with a mix of awe and fear. Many had come to see the slow, steady calving of ice that the Purito Moreno Glacier is famous for. What they got instead was a sudden and violent collapse, a rare and unforgettable moment. Some visitors captured the event on camera, their voices filled with excitement and nervous laughter. Others quickly moved to safer spots, aware of the potential danger posed by waves and falling ice. For those nearby, the risks were real. Boats in the area had to navigate carefully, as waves created by the collapse could easily capsize smaller vessels. Guides emphasized the importance of maintaining a safe distance from the glacier. As even the most experienced can't predict when the next collapse might happen. The spectacle of the Purito Moreno Glacier's collapse, though mesmerizing, highlights the delicate balance between appreciating nature and respecting its unpredictable dangers. 9. Mud geysers in Thailand, Sungnoan District, August 2023. In August 2023, the Sungnoan district in Thailand experienced a bizarre and chaotic event that disrupted the everyday lives of its residents. Early in the morning, as diners enjoyed breakfast at a local restaurant, the ground beneath them suddenly erupted. Water and mud shot up like geysers, creating panic and confusion. Plates clattered, chairs were abandoned, and the once calm restaurant was thrown into chaos. The scene outside was just as wild. Mud surged from the ground, reaching up to 5 meters high in some areas, covering roads, walkways, and nearby shops. Animals, including a startled dog, scrambled to escape, sensing the danger before most people even realized what was happening. Locals rushed to salvage their belongings as the muddy water rose quickly, reaching knee-height in some places. What had been a normal day turned into a frantic struggle to stay safe and minimize damage. The aftermath was a big challenge for the community. Once the water receded, the streets were left caked in thick mud, and the restaurant and surrounding buildings were unrecognizable. Cleanup efforts began almost immediately, with locals and municipal workers joining forces. Buckets, shovels, and hoses became tools of resilience as they worked tirelessly to restore some semblance of normalcy. The mud was heavy and clung to everything it touched, making progress slow and exhausting. Despite the disruption, the spirit of the community remained unbroken. Neighbors helped one another, sharing supplies and offering support. The restaurant owner vowed to rebuild, and volunteers pitched in to get the business back on its feet. While the mud geysers were an unusual and unexpected phenomenon, the people of Sungnoan faced the challenge head-on. 10th landslide at Kopler Gold Mine, Turkey, February 2024. In February 2024, the Kopler Gold Mine in Turkey's Erzincan province became the site of a terrifying landslide that left both human lives and the environment deeply impacted. Dramatic dashcam footage from a nearby truck driver captured the moment the mountainside gave way, displacing nearly 10 million cubic meters of soil in an instant. The sheer magnitude of the collapse was staggering. A massive wave of earth and debris surged downhill, covering the mine and trapping workers underground. The rescue efforts that followed were among the largest in Turkey's recent history. Over 800 personnel were mobilized to save those caught in the disaster. Equipped with drones and radar technology, teams scanned the unstable terrain for signs of life. Heavy machinery worked tirelessly to remove layers of soil while specialized rescue units carefully navigated the dangerous environment to reach potential survivors. Despite the overwhelming challenges, the dedication of the rescuers highlighted the depth of human courage and determination. Sadly, the disaster had a profound human toll. 9 workers remained trapped beneath the earth, sparking grief and frustration among their families and colleagues. Beyond the immediate loss of life, the environmental damage was immense. The landslide not only disrupted the mine's operations, but also had far-reaching ecological consequences. The Turkish Ministry of Environment reported concerns about potential contamination, though they assured the public that no major leaks had been detected in nearby streams. The landslide also reignited debates about the environmental risks of mining. The Kopler gold mine had faced scrutiny in the past for a cyanide leak, and this new disaster intensified calls for stricter oversight and sustainable practices in the industry. While the community surrounding the mine continues to grapple with the aftermath, the event stands as a somber reminder of the balance between industrial progress and environmental stewardship. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below.